there, guys and gals. Welcome to another Literati video. Today we'll be going over The Lost City of the Monkey God by Douglas Preston, who also usually writes in tandem with Lee Child for a fiction series. But this is actually a non-fiction book, and it takes place only about 5 or 6 years ago. So we'll be going over this today, what the book is about, and some responses and reactions to it. It talks about Ciudad Blanca, the White City. The White City. There's a couple of names for the same location. The myth of the White City, which is also known as the City of the Monkey God, and it is in Honduras, in this really, really dense jungle. And it goes through the entire thread of getting permits, and with the government, the Honduran government, and how a lot of governments are corrupt, and the bureaucracy and the bribing and all that kind of stuff that's involved in getting where he needs to be, and just archaeology in general. So he is not an archaeologist, but he has worked with the Smithsonian and National Geographic as a writer, as a journalist. And people who went on this particular trip back in 2012 is when they started. One time they finished, it was 2017, which when they got all the things through. And they did indeed find a city, and they have the president of Honduras come and do a little photo op with some of the things they found. And the big issue was, why did these people leave? How long ago was it, and why did these people leave? And it turns out that the evidence is inconclusive, but there are theories, and they're very similar to the Mayans, but they were independent of the Maya down in Central America. So, long story short, it's a great read. It's pretty fast, and it's very Indiana Jones-esque for about 3/4 of the book. And then you get to this part where they have to close up, or they have to finish the expedition and fly home, and then things get a little disturbing. So having like the 8-foot snakes and all that, and all the bugs and the creepiness of the jungle was just icing on the cake. So they talk about the curse of most of these ancient and lost cities, and like King Tut, the curse of King Tut and the mummies, and a lot of it has to do with bacteria and insects or organisms that have been dormant for so long that are now being exposed to modern day, and the people, us, are not immune to it. So he goes on to the 3/4 of the book about this disease that half the crew pick up, and it's a little bit graphic. It gives me the willies to think too much about it. But this was published again in 2017, and they do mention a few things that pertain to COVID, which is COVID-19, which we're currently experiencing in the pandemic. And they talk about how I'm not quite sure how to say it, epidemiologists, the people who study epidemics, the scientists, back about 6 years ago, they said given the statistics and the nature and global warming, et cetera, that they had predicted between 2020 and 2060 that there is going to be a global-wide pandemic, just like the big one, which, ta-da, their predictions were correct. It's not a great ta-da, but it's, like, yay, your hypothesis was right. But anyways, so So anyway, so they talk about what it takes to become immune and to fight these diseases that they picked up. It was really interesting and a little bit, well, it's a lot annoying. I was going to say a little bit disturbing, but in a different kind of way, is that the reason why there aren't vaccines for the virus that they have, that the crew picked up, was because most of the people worldwide who have it are very, very, very poor. Like the villages in India or near the jungle in Honduras and stuff like that, they're very impoverished. And so there isn't money to be made to have a vaccine, even though 50 million people worldwide have it at any given time. And that's not promising. So it's really annoying. So that kind of stuff is also factoring into our dialogue or current events going on here. So I really liked it. I had a handful of people from the Literati Club also say they enjoyed it, and they also felt that the ending was very sobering. That it was amazing that they could find it, but there was a threat of deforestation close to the illegal deforestation close to the jungles when they were filming it and processing for just a little bit, and it's going to take years to go through to actually catalog everything and what have you, because it's enormous. However, looting's a big issue, and the drug cartel is also very close to this jungle location, this city location, and there hasn't been many updates because of the pandemic, which has put the world on a standstill. But they also have just legalities with the governments and all sorts of different things that need to go through in order for them to process the archaeological site. So it was a fun read, and in the end, the official term or the official name they give this location is not the lost city of the monkey god. They completely changed the animal. It's very sad. So they completely did not leave that as a surprise, so you can be just as miffed as I was when I found out that it was no longer going to be referred to as the city of the monkey god. The curse, I tell you, my God. For our next book in the Literati that we're going to be doing is a novel by Charles Fraser called Verena, something to that effect. And she is the wife of President Jefferson Davis of the Confederacy. And so it takes place, obviously, during the Civil War time frame. And it's supposedly about her life and the choices that she didn't make and how that affects her personally later in life, and also the kind of the fate of the nation, because she didn't take a stand or take a stance regarding what her husband essentially was doing, what the Confederacy was doing. And so next month will be another video coming out with stuff for this particular book. So join me in that quirky little journey, and I'll see you then.